Lamar Jackson with a hamstring is still missing at Ravens practice. John Harbaugh said after the Rams lost that the hope was to have him back versus Chicago this Sunday. If Lamar can't practice this week, Cooper Rush, Tyler Huntley will get the nod again. I mean, it's early in the week. It's Monday. But at the same time, this is coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
This is you're hoping that, at least you're seeing Lamar out there throwing the ball, something to give you this idea that he is, in fact, going to play on Sunday. You didn't get it. He is not out there. So we'll start, Brad. I mean, where's your panic meter on this?
It's not very high. Not yet. I think, it's the first day after the bye. First work day, I guess, after the bye. I don't think that there's anything to worry about just yet. If we don't hear anything by Wednesday about what the hell's going on with Lamar Jackson, then some red flags are going to go off. Some alarm bells are going to sound, and then I'm going to get really worried about what's going on versus the Bears here this weekend. What say you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm concerned about this because I was hoping at least in some limited capacity we would see Lamar. But I'm going to hold out until Wednesday before I officially smash the panic button. And the reason that the panic button is even on the table, to be honest, is because, the situation the Ravens are in, they have to win this game on Sunday.
Correct.
This is not like the Rams. This is not, like the Texans game where you went into it and you're like, if they win, that would be really helpful. It'd be really helpful if they win. But if they don't, okay, season, you make it a little tougher, but you got to go from there. We were talking about this off screen beforehand. If the Ravens, let's say Lamar is not able to go this week and they fall to the Bears and fall to 1-6, you can pretty much kiss the season goodbye.
Over.
I mean, 1-6, 1-5 already coming back from 1-5 is in and of itself a big feat. Like, they are going to have to be borderline perfect throughout the rest of the season. If Lamar's not out there this Sunday and you can't get a win, even if Lamar is out there and you can't get a win, it definitely changes this season from hey, can they still go for it, to trades are happening and it's not to acquire talent, and it's probably more on development, unfortunately, than anything else after that.
Yeah, 1-6 is an impossible feat to overcome. I think you're right. I think if they go into this game with no Lamar Jackson, and we've seen this entire season, the average points per game with this team is 6.5 versus the 32.5 when Lamar Jackson's in. I just don't know, if he's not playing, how this team actually wins another ball game for the rest of the season if they can't figure out how to score more points. At a time where the defense actually looked like the defense a little bit against the Rams. Now, I don't know if that's going to be indicative of what the defense will be for the rest of the season, but if they can play like that all the way to the finish line, the defense is going to be pretty solid, and they're overall healthy. But the thing is that you can't win ball games if you don't score points. So unless you're the 2000 Ravens, which this team is not.
No.
So I in my opinion, I would agree with you. I think that it's a little, let's pump the brakes on panic right now. By Wednesday, there's no Lamar Jackson, and it comes out that he's not playing on Sunday. This season's over for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. And that's what sucks, is that, had they won one or two of those other games, if they were sitting at 3-3, you'd be concerned about Lamar not playing this Sunday. But at the end of the day, it would be kind of like when we were going up against the Rams, going up against the Texans. You'd be happy with the win, but you're not expecting it. And if you don't win, it doesn't mean the season's over. Well, but unfortunately, that's not reality. You're sitting at 1-5.
Yep.
You made your bed, you got to lay in it. And that includes, you are going to need to, the NFL, the Bears do not care if, Lamar's out, we don't want to win this one. Like, they really need a win here. Like, they are also trying to win. Like, they are going to do everything to win this game. So you can't expect them to, take things lightly. They're hot coming into this game. So this is a massive week, and it is not starting off on a good foot if you're the Ravens. Yes, you can talk about Roquan Smith returned, all those guys. So, yeah, you're getting guys back. Patrick Ricard's practicing. All of that is great, but it all revolves around number 8 being out there, because if he's not out there, I mean, we can only have so many Cooper Rush versus Tyler Huntley debates. I mean, you're not in a good position if one of those two is having to start for you on Sunday.
Here's my other thing too. And look, I know that I'm an armchair quarterback. Just given what we've seen with our naked eye, Zach, Cooper Rush starts this game. If there's no Lamar Jackson, if Cooper Rush starts this game, I'm going to lose my shit. Because this offense was not designed for a Cooper Rush style quarterback. And Tyler Huntley knows John Harbaugh. He knows what his job is as the backup quarterback, as a dynamic backup quarterback. He has to start this game if Lamar Jackson's not ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, especially I just feel like with the offensive line and the shape that it's in and just what we've seen them play, I feel like the mobility of Tyler Huntley, like if anything, I mean, those final few drives he was in versus the Rams, it wasn't necessarily designed plays. It was just plays that blew up in his face that he's able to use his athleticism. The same plays that Cooper Rush was getting sacked on, he's at least gaining 2-3 yards. You know, we saw him take off for 10, 15 on big 3rd and 4th downs. I agree. I also think it puts stress on, the defense in the running game. Now suddenly Derrick Henry, you have to wait that extra second to see if Huntley's keeping it. I think it just opens up a lot more. I mean, from the beginning, hell, we even talked to Ian Eagle about it, where it's like it's a very different offense. Like, I don't know why the backup quarterback for Lamar Jackson was a very, very, very pure pocket passer, because that doesn't, I get it. Todd Monken has had many, many offenses throughout his career. If you want to go back to Georgia, obviously, Carson Beck, all them, or Stetson Bennett, and just kind of building with pocket passers. So that's, yes, the experience is there. But in the NFL,
that's not,
Cooper Rush, you can't have Lamar Jackson be the focal point of your entire offensive game plan, then just shift it over to Cooper Rush. That's not going to win you ball games.
The Cooper Rush signing never made any sense to me, and I thought maybe they just knew more than I did, which I always concede to. Hey, like, I'm not getting paid to make these decisions, so I have my opinions, but it doesn't mean that they are always good opinions. But this one seems to be a bit validating, because when I was scratching my head when they signed him and now watching him play on that ball field, this isn't, I don't think, an indictment on Cooper Rush. I think it's the system that he's been put in.
Yeah. And that's, it's the NFL, unfortunately. And we have to give it to him. That game against the Texans, I don't know if, Huntley wouldn't have made a difference, anything. That was just, they just got absolutely whooped in that game. But this is where we're at in the season, where we are, it's down to, the Ravens, the Bears coming to Baltimore is a win or go home-esque game now, and it does not help if Lamar Jackson's out your quarterback. I think, everyone's kind of overlooking the Bears in a sense. I don't think they're world beaters. I don't think they're this great team, but I don't think it's necessarily the quote-unquote tune-up game.
They can be that spoiler kind of team.
Exactly. And now suddenly, it's already sitting there even with a healthy Lamar, where you're like, okay, don't drop this game to the Bears. Don't take them too lightly, all that. Cooper Rush or Tyler Huntley starting, this turns into an interesting ball game, because now suddenly, if the Ravens can't move the ball, they're going to have to rely solely on Derrick Henry, on the gadgety plays, stuff like that. It's going to be a much tougher task. I mean, currently the Ravens, I believe, are 6.5-point favorites. That is assuming that Lamar's going to play.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, if we see something similar to the Texans game, where the Ravens were favored by like 8.5, then they announced Lamar's not playing, and it went to 2.5-point underdogs. I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly it was Ravens favored by 1, by 2.
Yeah.
If, Cooper Rush, I think they'd still give the Ravens the favorites, but this team looks, we've seen it. This team looks a whole lot different with Lamar Jackson and without Lamar Jackson.
For sure. I think, I mean, we can come back to this topic if we want to, as people roll in and ask questions. I would say, if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, I just don't know where we go from here. I'm not saying that it's an unwinnable game against the Bears, because as you'd mentioned, they're not world beaters, but it makes me very nervous, just given the level of play that we've had, or that we've seen from a team in the Houston Texans that didn't even score 20 points all season long, and then all of a sudden just steamrolled the Ravens, and then you have other teams that have just manhandled this defense and the offense. Even when Lamar Jackson was healthy, you had questions about this team, and it was at the time we're like, oh, they're still trying to get their footing, nothing to panic about. But no Lamar Jackson and a 1-6 team, we'll be talking about something else besides the Ravens this season.